Back on the Comic Core Sunday night show. Is it that bad? This is our first ever audience pick episode. Of course, first of many to come. For those of you who weren't keeping up to date with the couple polls that were posted, as well as the votes that happened here on the last Sunday show, as well as in the comments and everything, after it was all said and done, Cooties pretty much swept the deck.
Mm-hmm.
Cooties won by a pretty big margin over the other films.
That's awesome. I know. I voted Cooties.
Cooties.
Mm-hmm.
So, Legend, do you want to do the bio of Cooties, or do you want me to do the this quick summary of Cooties?
Let's let you do the quick summary of Cooties.
All right, so Cooties is a story of small town school, and we've got our new what is he even like? Our new substitute teacher.
Yeah, he comes in as the new substitute teacher, but also known as like a failed writer.
Yeah,
can't even get chapter 1
he's
down.
Supposed to be a writer from New York, and that's so cool. It's like, dude, you failed as a writer in New York, and now you came here to be a teacher. But so he's back at his old school, his old stomping grounds, and everything.
That's old Clint Hadsonoa of the Elijah Wood,
from Hobbit fame.
Yeah,
he's also one of the producers of this film, and this is actually I believe this was the first film that was released by his production company.
Mm-hmm.
So huge shout out there.
Yep.
But he's back in his old stomping grounds, his old school, and I'll tell you. So basically, it's the whole thing. Girl of his dreams is a teacher there, and everything going on there. We got some weird kind of like love triangle stuff between them and her longtime boyfriend, the gym teacher.
Yeah, the gym teacher.
Which he's pretty funny. And, before we get on into the story and everything, it's basically just a who's who of sitcom and comedic actors, comedians,
Mm-hmm.
But so it's just an ordinary school day until it's not, because there was a tainted chicken nugget.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens when kids eat tainted chicken nuggets? They get cooties and they turn into zombies and they eat people.
Well,
and that's what happens.
Be a little more
in this
specific.
movie.
It's children who have not hit puberty.
That's true. Puberty plays a big role in this.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like we have a ragtag crew of survivors, including a handful of children, one of which did hit puberty already. And they're trying to survive, trying to, figure out what's going on, if it's contained, if it's widespread, and it's some pretty crazy nonsense.
You're gonna eat this.
What is it?
Pineapple.
Oh, it's pineapple. Yeah, don't breathe on me.
The beginning of the film was kind of wild, also in a sense that as we got to see the title and all the people that were a part of making the movie, it was over like the backdrop of the chicken facility that makes a lot of their chicken. I want to say the chicken facility was called Happy Chicken, and in Fort Chicken, Illinois, a batch of those poorly prepared chicken nuggets containing a mutant virus arrived at Fort Chicken Elementary, and that fourth grader, her name was Shelley Linker. Now the thing about Shelley was, in one of the very first disgusting deals, so he's finally at school. He's teaching his first class. He walks in, and as he walks in, two boys are really picking on this girl. They're like ripping into her hard, calling her like names, saying stuff like, if my ass had a hole, it would be a lot better looking than you, or some crap like that.
They were just being jerks.
Yeah. And then, oh my God, the sickest part was finally the little boy named Patriot. The boy's name was Patriot because he was born on September 11th. Yeah, September 11th. He says when he turns 18, I want to join the Marines and murder the Taliban. I was like, God dang, we got a fucking proud boy, future proud boy right here. Yeah. And then but anyway, this kid, he pulls on this little girl's ponytail, and she already has like some raised up blisters on her. She doesn't look like she's 100%. And when in this little guy, Patriot, he pulls the ponytail off Shelly's head, and it just leaves a big gaping hole wound. And then that's when she runs, she attacks him and bites not half, he just bites it, take a big chunk out of his cheek.
Right of his face.
Mm-hmm. And then he's a little hellion through this movie as well, running around,
I think the worst of it is when so all this has happened, right? Mm-hmm. We got the fight and everything between the kids. It was broken up. One went to the nurse's office and everything. You're going to send the other one out to recess with the other kids? Yes. No, this kid should either be in an office or waiting in a classroom by herself, either for her parents or to talk to a principal or to see what's going on there, or even in the nurse's office to check out what's going on there, because she looks like she's sick. Mm-hmm. She doesn't look like she's feeling great. But of course, Patriot's little jerk friend approaches her and of course has to put his little 2 cents in, and he gets tacked. Mm-hmm. And then he just spreads it like wildfire.
The play area outside.
Everyone. How sharp are this kid's nails?
Yeah, he was running by people, and they were doing it in slow-mo, and his claws, and every time he would scratch someone, they'd start bleeding. I'm itching already. I'm scratching so bad. It was really cool. And I like some of the slow-mo scenes, because that little kid, the little secondary bully, he had some good facial, like where he was just like,
it's like what the background is for.
Mm-hmm. So
that background,
the background for this is when the kids start attacking the teachers and everything.
Yeah, old Mr. Peterson, he was the first one to go out there. This big black guy, he's like he's gonna go out there and he's gonna stop all these children from ragtag misbehaving, and then all of a sudden, damn, they just swarmed his ass. I think he was the first to get chewed up.
And then I think the woman who gets attacked, like trying to intervene and everything. What is she like? Is she supposed to be like a recess monitor or something? But she dies horribly, and that's kind of what's going on behind us here. And I love this picture, because while these two are getting like torn apart and eaten, you see these 2 little girls in the background, and they're still just playing with the ball.
Yeah, they're still playing around.
Like, nothing's going on here, just playing catch.
Good old Rainn Wilson's character, the classic gym teacher. His name was Wade Johnson. He was always like, "What do you have him do about it, Wade?" Wade, he was just out there playing basketball, and he was really pissed. He was missing all the shots because inside he was looking through the teacher's lounge window when old Clint, Elijah Woods, the sub, was making moves on his girl, and her name was Lucy. And her actress name, or kayfabe, is Allison Pill. I think she was on a show called some show called The Book of Daniel or something in 2006 was our famous one. But yeah, they were, then finally Rainn Wilson turns around and he sees all those damn kids finally swarming after him, and he thinks he's done for. By this time, all the other teachers are at the window. They're seeing what the hell old Coach Wade or the gym teacher Wade's going to do, because he's got a crap ton of these kids in his way and in the way back to the teacher's lounge. And dude, he just goes through them. He's an old school 2-time, All-American running back or something like that. And he just like,
I love it. He's just knocking these kids to the side and just
spin moves, like big forearm, just knocking them out of the way. Man, he awesome.
He clotheslines a couple kids.
He did clothesline. Yeah, he just went down and like totally clotheslined them. It was freaking awesome.
These are actual kids. So they had to work on this stuff of him just smacking kids to the side.
Yeah, and it was on the sidewalk too. So I mean, these kids were taking legit wrestling moves on the sidewalk. It was awesome. And Rainn Wilson, that dude's a freaking tall. Old Dwight Schrute, that dude's really tall. So he comes through, he just clotheslined the kid, just like took it, just went down quick.
Dude, what is it? The principal that gets called out or something?
Yeah, that assistant principal, he
That
goes
was
out there.
rough. Like
Mhm.
he gets called out there, but I think by either the bus driver or I don't know what this guy's actual occupation was supposed to be. I think he was like on Lost or something. But he's high, right? Like he's super high in the vehicle, and he's watching all this happen, but he can't trust it.
Is he one of the
What
other
is he? He's the crossing guard. He's basically a crossing guard.
He's something.
And he goes in his like once the kids are in school, he goes in his van until 3, and he just goes in there eating those magic mushrooms and just listening to music.
Yeah.
But Karen, what was great was he's eating all that shit, and then he's watching it all unfold throughout his windshield.
Believe it or not. You know? So he calls into the principal's office like, hey, you might want to check this out. So he goes out there to check it out. Doesn't look out the window, just goes out there and is trying to get some order. Yeah. And he basically gets just torn apart, limb from limb, alive.
Yeah, he does. He gets messed up. He was going to go out there thinking he was going to be a big, tough guy because the real principal was on vacation somewhere at some beach or something. So the assistant principal, he wanted to really take control of things, you know. Yeah, so they're in the teacher's lounge, cold chilling. But you know who also isn't in the teacher's lounge? How about this chat? Cat Ren, we got to check this chat.
Oh, yeah. All right. So first off, in the chat, as per usual, we got some Ricky Martstadt. Isn't Cooties what kids have, what they think is a virus? Yes, because circle, ... Now he has a Cooties shot. That is how you do Cooties shots, everyone. I have given many a Cootie shot in my day. He also was asking Mark, were you eating chicken nuggets?
No, it's pineapple.
I mean, he could. They're in the freezer. They're not tainted, though. No. And then Fish Tropic hanging out in the chat asking, is it Sunday? Yes, it is Sunday.
Sunday.
Bad. So, yeah. Now we're in the teacher's lounge.
Yeah, they're all back together. They're in the teacher's lounge. They got a couple of kids with them. They got one little boy, and he is kind of there with them. And then there was the little girl that got scratched. But since she hadn't hit the puberty yet, she was still okay.
Oh my God. I love the moment when they're trying to figure out why she's not turning. And they start to realize, like, oh, well, clearly it's puberty. Puberty is the deciding factor. And they're so awkward about asking her if she's had her period before. And she's like, I don't feel comfortable talking about this.
I like that. Through the door, through like the bathroom door. That was freaking classic.
And they send the one male teacher in to ask her. It's not even a female teacher. Oh, the poor little girl. But no, and it's crazy all the things they have to do because they have to discuss what are they going to do to try to escape. They've got this whole thing where they're trying to like bring in the parents and like possibly get the parents to save them. They're attempting to, get to keys to a truck. Also, they find out the little boy they have with them is diabetic. So they have to get him
candies.
Some sugar. And it's like all the crazy things that they go through. And they thought they had all the kids locked out. But of course, that little sneak Patriot is there. And the scene where Patriot gets inside the lounge and attacks them is hilarious.
Yeah.
Because you want to tell them what happens? Okay.
Yeah, what happened? Because I know there was the little blonde-haired boy that got the extinguisher to the back of the head, and then there was the one where Patriot busted in the principal's office, took all the phones and shit, and started stomping the crap out of them, like raging, basically. And then during that time, like Wade and then old Elijah Wood's character, they're trying to come up with the best idea, and basically they're just trying to show off in front of that girl teacher that's already Wade's girlfriend. But Elijah Wood's kind of like, this was like a girl he remembered from school and everything, and they're going over their plan and they're fighting and everything. And Rainn Wilson's like, coach, he's like, well, I'm gonna grab this as my weapon. It's gonna be a symphony of death. And then he busts out this damn like violin. He says, here's your weapon. And it was like a damn, like one of those things you beat on with the little bell things.
Tambourine.
Yeah, tambourine. And finally the girl kind of stepped in and calmed both of them down. And what did they finally settle in on? Oh, but during that battle, what was great was Rainn Wilson says, what are you going to do, you little rider, you little Stevie King? What are you going to do? And then he said something like, you're going to go out there by yourself. And he called him a hobbit. You're going to
called him a hobbit.
Yeah, he said called him a hobbit. And I bust out laughing. I paused it. I had Brandy come in so she could watch that scene, and it was just so damn funny. But they went back and forth, and that was really good. And then finally, they decided that there was a vent or the vent up there. They could climb through a vent that would take them to all the different locations they needed to go. The teacher's lounge to get a candy bar for the guy. God, I don't know if it was Gary or Henry or whatever the little boys students name with the diabetes. They had to do that. They had to go see if there was a working cell phone. So good old Lucy and actually Clint, Elijah Wood's character, goes in there first. Then Lucy follows him, and she gives a big speech how she said she just went crazy. She said she hated all the other teachers or didn't really like them, and then went to go be with Clint, and they were going to go, one will go do one thing and the other go do the other thing. And when one went to get like a phone that none of the phones worked, but what she was able to grab was Coach Wade, Rainn Wilson's keys to his truck, because they were trying to get that truck and everything. And then so she's going after that. Well, I think it's Elijah Wood grabs that young kid, Calvin's his name. He grabs old Calvin an O. Henry candy bar or some shit like that. I think it was O. Henry because that candy bar is actually pretty legit, But and then finally they got back, and but I want to know one of the the guy, I love this actor. He's so damn funny. Let me get his name real quick. I want to say it's Jack. Yeah, Jack McBrayer, of course, from 30 Rock. And he goes in there and he goes like while Lucy and Clint are in the thing doing their little mission. The other ones are going around, just talking and stuff about, things that they want to tell each other. And finally, like when all the hell's breaking loose, old Jack, he goes, or his name is Tracy Lacey. That's his name in the movie, Tracy Lacey. I don't know what party he plays, but all of a sudden he goes, when all of it's going to shit in the handbasket, he's like, I'm gay or something like that, just out of nowhere. Like, it didn't really fit in the movie at all, but it was just so fucking funny. It's just like they just threw that in there. But there's gay teachers out there, so I mean, you got to represent everybody in the LGBTQ plus community when it comes to teachers and schools that house zombie children. But damn, what a good movie. So yeah, what do you want, Karen? You want to get back? Tell us when the little friend of Patriot, he had to feed. They had to make him feed.
Yes.
Oh, Rainn Wilson, coach, like that kid busts in the room, and they're like, "No, not today. We're tired of this little kid." And he just grabs that fucking, what was it, a fire extinguisher, and just continued to beat the kid's head. Oh man! And it just kept doing it and hitting it. Every other hit got harder and louder.
I love the fact that like the way they're looking at grown-ups being eaten and killed and everything. Like there's some humor behind it. There's a lot of things, but when you show him getting killed, like this is a child being killed. It's like a fourth grader, and it's a very somber scene, and everyone that's there is like really, really upset by this. Mm-hmm. Even though, like, yeah, it's a rabid, basically zombie creature. I mean, this is no longer like a sweet boy. I mean, of course he wasn't a sweet boy before, but this isn't like an innocent child. This is like a rabid beast that wants to rip your throat out.
Yeah.
And it's very very brutal.
It was.
What happens to him.
Violent.
But, you were talking about scenes that didn't really seem to fit. So, of course, this whole movie, they're kind of like shoehorning and trying to like really force this whole love triangle between like the three main real characters and everything. And there's a part where the gym teacher pulls his little girlfriend or whatever to the side, and he's like, I bought you a ring. And it's like, dude, I'm not that invested in like, we haven't really figured out what the hell she wants.
Yeah, one of the lines that he said to her, he said, you know, when I walked in on y'all when y'all were talking at the teacher's lounge, that was the first time I ever saw you really smile. And I was like, oh shit.
That's sad.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, oh, that's really depressing. And then finally
really
he said
sad.
something like, and fuck you, or something like that. He said something when she left, and I was like, and I think that's what one of the things that convinced her to go into the air ducts too, to kind of get away from him. But yeah, the movie was like wild, and whenever they got back with the mission and got started, and they got into the truck, and they were going to go over to the one town over, which was called Danville, and that's kind of like Fort Chicken's rival town. I guess they got over there and they were trying to, and that was, I think, before they ran out of gas or something. But what
sport is it that they're rivals of?
I don't know. I think Danville.
I think they're just rival towns.
Yeah, well, I mean, kind of like high schools and stuff.
You know, like
because Danville has the Danville Danners.
Yeah. See, so it'd probably be their team against their team or something. But when they got to Danville, the town was pretty much a ghost town. There were some bodies out there, but they got over to a little place where they could watch TV, and then they looked to see, and pretty much they noticed that all the places in Indiana had these like crazy kids, because all these places got Happy Chicken served to them, and of course it had that freaking mutagen virus in there. That was what did it like? It turned their brains black when that dude did the little blonde kid that got his head bashed. I think he was the one that also was the autopsy that the science teacher guy did. What's his name? His name was Doug was his name, and he also had a book on him that told him how to talk with others. He was really one of those introverts. He didn't know how to start up conversations. But the cool thing behind the scenes, Kat was telling me before the show that this actor's real name was his name was Lee Wannell, and he also wrote part of this, you know, is one of the writers on this film and one of the writers on Saw.
So we know him as this like iconic horror movie, you know, director, icon, writer. And it's funny because when this was first originally brought to his attention, they just wanted it to be a straight horror movie, and they wanted him to do a lot of the writing of it to make it into a straight horror movie. And it was just going to be like kids turning into zombies after eating chicken nuggets and eating their teachers and everything. And he thought it was the funniest thing ever. And he's like, no, it's a horror comedy. It has to be. Like, it's got kids eating chicken nuggets and eating their teachers, and you're calling it Cooties. How can it not be a comedy?
I'm so glad, too. I'm so glad they have the comedy stuff in it, because when you're watching the film during some of the carnage scenes, like, you'll just see, like, random kid, zombified kid, like, holding a limb or a leg or an arm or something. I thought that was just pretty funny.
Oh, yeah. I love the scene. One of my favorite scenes in this entire movie is when they get attacked when they're in the lounge, and this random female teacher gets attacked and gets like shoved into a closet. Oh yeah, and then it like slams her. He's like, "Who is that woman?"
That was Patriot, and Patriot was just in there, and all you heard was the sounds of like what you would hear as Mel Blanc voicing Tasmanian Devil in some old ass Looney Tunes commercial. You just heard all these like, you know, these like sounds like that girl, whoever was in the closet, was getting a little Tasmanian Devil tornado by the freaking Patriot zombie boy, which was just an asshole character. But one of the things was great. Whenever they were finally loading up in the truck to leave the school, Rand Wilson, the old gym teacher, Wade, he's out there I don't know. This was actually, I just started laughing because you could see this kind of shit coming a mile away. He's decked out in these shoulder pads, and earlier in the escape in the school, he had that baseball. It's like a thing that throws baseballs to people that are at the batting cages, and he was peppering the baseball's like headshotting these like kids in the hallway. But let me get to that one part where he throws the keys to Elijah Wood's character, and he's like, take care of her, talking about Lucy. And then all of them are just like swarming, like dog piling. So you figure, oh, he gave his life to save all of his friends. And then later on, God, I don't remember where the hell they're at, if they're in Danville or if maybe he comes back.
They're in Danville, and they've like walked in on what was left over from a kid's birthday party, unfortunately.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So just to get back to that scene, I watched this movie and I was like, there's no way he's making it out of there. Like, he's dead. Yeah. He and this janitor have to be dead.
Yeah, the janitor, yeah.
But they're both alive, and they showed up to save the other teachers. Like, how did they know they were in Danville? How did they know they were there at that, like, was it like supposed to be like a Chuck E. Cheese or something?
Yeah, a little Friday night with Freddy's, Chuck E. Cheese, Showbiz Pizza, one of those kind of classic
Willies Wonderland.
It looked like a level off of Borderlands, the Mad Moxie DLC, where like you look at you're in a small enclosed area and all around you is just the netting and things of all these zombie kids. And man, that's when they just have to fight, Man, what a good freaking movie, though. I mean,
it's a fun movie.
Is it that bad? Hell no. It was fun.
It's good.
After I watched it,
good. It is good.
Yeah. I remember I texted the good old cat and I said, "Man, this was a good, fun movie. The gore was A+. Yeah, a lot of fun. This is definitely, and this was a really cool one. So this was the one that Mama Wren had picked. Mm-hmm. And then this is the one we put on our community poll along with a movie called Freaked that Chad wanted to see. Originally, we thought it was 1932 Todd Browning's Freaks. Yeah, the Freaks that's classic. But
no.
His movie Lost, and then Chris Barrett
did Grown Ups 1 and 2. He wanted a back-to-back.
We're gonna really quick look at that.
Yeah. Grown Ups. But yeah, Grown Ups wanted to. That didn't make the cut either, but Cat Wren's mom, Mama Wren, came through, and Cooties won it.
Cooties.
And then a lot of other folks voted for Cooties too, so it was an awesome pick, and we're glad she picked it for us. And this is a dang good movie.
Very fun movie.
Ricky down here says, "Have you watched the Avatar: The Last Airbender show or movie?"
No.
Me neither.
I've heard stories, but no. So, this film, when it was originally released at like Sundance and in film festivals and everything, it had a completely different ending. It had an ending that I personally have never actually seen. Yeah. They originally end up around a campfire, and the kids like go to like attack them, and they're stuck in this whole cliffhanger ending. Like, do they survive? Do they live? Do they die? Da da da. But then when it got picked up for distribution, the new company, I think it was like Lionsgate, but I think Lionsgate didn't like the ending, so they just like cut him a check to film a new ending.
Do that Friday night or that Five Nights at Freddy's, put him in that little pizza place ending.
They wanted that ball pit, they wanted the pizza place, they wanted, the carnage, all of it.
Half-eaten birthday cake, yep.
He's saying they made a Cooties 2. They didn't make it with the same cast. No way. I'm going to check this out. 1 second, Fish Tropic.
Fish Tropic brought up a good point. Fish, you said Insidious, and that the science teacher in the film, like I said, one of the writers for Saw, and of course the writer on this movie, good old Lee Wannell, he was the one that wrote Insidious 1 and 2. Of course, his good friend is James Wan. They were good. I don't know if they were childhood friends or what, but that's his friend is James Wan. So him and James have done a lot of stuff. One of the other things I liked was near the end, in that freaking little place, was when Rand Wilson's character started spraying that super soaker, and And then little Elijah Wood says, "What's a water gun gonna do?" And he says, "It's not water." And then he like lit the match, and it was gasoline in the super soaker, and they all just burned. And he said something like, "Burn, motherfuckers," or he said something like that, some funny line. And I was just laughing and laughing. And then they got the hell out of there.
So I guess they've been talking about possibly making a Cooties 2.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's filmed and nothing's confirmed. There's an IMDb for Cooties 2, but I mean, there's an IMDb for everything. It would be really fun though to have a Cooties 2, and maybe get some plot points worked out and figure out some things there, and possibly get an antidote. I mean, what would happen? Let's say some of these kids that actually killed their parents and everything,
Mm-hmm.
like say they get the antidote and they realize like, oh, I ate mom. That would be pretty traumatic. Let's see how they come back from that.
And the thing with the whole necro, whatever they call it, to the brain, I just have never seen any show I've ever seen. I've never seen them make a cure for it. I don't know. Like maybe they're out there somewhere, but for the most part, they just all crazy. Another crazy thing about this, one of the executive producers on this film was our boy. Hey, actually, this is Ricky's boy. Ricky on Cooties on this film, one of the executive producers, not shitting you at all, Hayden Christensen, Anakin Skywalker. Damn! I guess him and old Elijah Wood are little friends or something.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And also for Carson, the composer of this film was Krang. Krang, it's Kreng. That's just the composer, and he's a Belgium-based project, but his name's Krang, like the Ninja Turtles guy.
Like, shut up!
Yeah, and he's sitting in the belly of that big robot android-looking thing. That was so funny.
Yes.
What a damn good movie, Mark. What's your thoughts on Cooties?
Cooties. Well, made me not want to eat chicken nuggets for a little bit.
Same here, man.
Oh God. But no. Like eating chicken nuggets, when you have a bad nugget.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a bad nugget.
Yeah, it was like that black ooze was in that nasty thing, and that kid
You didn't notice that?
Nope.
ate it. I check out all my nuggets. I look at all my nuggets because most of those things, they're frozen, they're flash frozen, ready to be put in the fryer. You gotta, one time my older brother had a chicken nugget from McDonald's. This is when McDonald's was still pretty early. This is the 80s or something, and he found a bird's beak or a chicken beak in his chicken nugget. And I don't think he ever had chicken nuggets again. It was just like a loose beak that somehow got in there. Sometimes the grinder doesn't work.
Have you ever seen Holy Chicken?
Mm-mm.
Well,
so Holy
documentary.
Chicken is a documentary. It's done. It's basically a sequel to like Super Size Me almost. It's done by the same guy who did Super Size Me. And Holy Chicken,
Morgan Spurlock,
he takes on big chicken. And like the chicken industry, and like he talks about how chickens are raised, raising things, how these big fast food and chicken restaurants, how they make their money, how they work together, their stories and everything. And like he did that, and he opened up a shop, and it was complete bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
And he did that just to see what would happen, and everyone was like believing this story and like all this and that. And I love the fact that the menu, it was the little cluckers.
Oh God, yeah.
And it's like the big clucker.
The funny thing about that, in I think it was Grand Theft Auto 4, they had a clucker type place, and it was kind of like a Taco Bell type hamburger place, but it was called Clucker. And it had like the little Clucker sandwiches. Mother Clucker. Dang it. But that's so funny. Cat Wren, how about you? Was this as bad as a Ouija shark?
No, this is a fun movie. I saw this like years ago. I hadn't rewatched it in a while, but I had a lot of fun with it. I mean, it's a fun premise. It's a lot of like It's a lot of like spooky things. And, we kind of have an all-star cast for a comedy. It was a lot of fun. You can tell that they really had a lot of fun just, rolling with everything. I'm sure there was a lot of ad-libbing, a lot of things just kind of thrown in and they rolled with it because, that's comedic timing and everything. That's a lot of SNL actors and all that. So it was good.
And let me tell you this. So I downloaded Tubi, and I didn't really get a lot of time to check it out when I first downloaded it. And I also downloaded Pluto TV since my person at work said they had Dark Shadows on there, which they do. It's like it's its own Dark Shadows channel. It's pretty. Yes. It's insanity. But the only thing I loved the Tubi that the Pluto TV is interesting, but Tubi wasn't that bad. I maybe sat through like 4, maybe 5 total commercial blocks. You know what I mean?
They're really small though.
Yeah, it didn't take away from anything because each commercial block maybe had 2 to 3 commercials. I kept getting one commercial about sudden link internet, like get sudden link internet for 400 megabytes a month. You can pay $29.99. So crap like that. But hell, those were fast, quick commercials. So it never felt like I was being taken out of the movie too long. So that was freaking awesome. The other one, though, that Pluto TV, the way they have their Dark Shadows set up on there is you can't like binge watch it. It's just like constant live like TV. So, but that's kind of cool. Like if people don't have like TV, they can download TV or whatever. So that's pretty awesome.
Well,
I thought it was a good movie. Not going to be taking up the worst award from that Ouija shark.
It's not taking Miss Sunday Night. That's for sure.
Love the cast.
It's a good movie.
The gore was good. Yeah, I mean, this is just a dang good movie. Like, so for next week, like, what do we do for next week? Do we start over or?
I actually have an idea for that. So I asked Mark before. I hadn't had a chance to ask you. I wasn't sure. I didn't know whose turn it was. I wasn't sure if either one of you were going to come forward with an idea. But I had an idea if you're game for it.
As long as it's a good movie.
It's a cat movie.
Or a bad movie. Yeah. What kind of movie is it?
So, I just recently got this shirt. I love this shirt. It's got brontosauruses all over it.
Are we going to watch Land Before Time?
No. How dare you? That movie
movie's
pantheon. Okay. Yes, I would love to watch all Land Before Time movies. There's like 14 of them.
Yeah, I think I had like the first 12 at one point.
They're fabulous. Yeah. But no, I was actually going to go with a live action movie.
Okay.
It's available on Tubi now. I did check before we went live.
Okay.
And it's PreHysteria. Okay, so this is a movie that I fully did not. I wasn't sure if I was remembering things right or if it was just kind of some kind of weird, your Mandela effect dimensions and everything.
So
do you live in the right universe or whatever anymore? Where I thought I almost had made up this movie in my mind because I remember a movie of this little boy and he had these dinosaur eggs and they broke open and then he had these little like miniature dinosaurs that were alive. They were basically like his dogs almost. Like they weren't eating each other or whatever. They were just like playing. And he had them like in a box and everything. Like they were his pets. And I fully did not believe this was a real movie. And then I saw this shirt and I thought about it again. And I was like, that's not a real movie. And I like did a little bit of like Googling and everything. It's like, yeah, it's a real movie. So I think we should go to that because I haven't seen that movie since the 90s.
All right. So what is the movie called again?
PreHysteria. It's on. Hold on.
On Tubi.
It's on Tubi. Hold on. Let me look up the exact spelling. All right. So it is PreHyst.
PreHysteria.
Yeah, PreHysteria. That's right. Mark got it.
PreHysteria.
Yeah, PreHysteria.
1993.
Yeah, all right. PreHysteria fans on Tubi, make sure you get in on some of that because that's what we're watching next
I haven't seen this
week.
movie in years. I don't remember anything about it other than the fact that there's miniature dinosaurs
Okay,
in
so
it.
the boy is the little kid from You Tear the Ticket with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Last Action Hero. So the boy is from the movie Last Action Hero. So this PreHysteria, I think, predates that movie, maybe. Damn, I'm excited. This is gonna be an interesting movie here.
I haven't seen this movie in years. I don't remember if it's good. I don't remember if it's bad. I just know there's a scene where dinosaurs are playing tug of war with like a dog toy, and I'm here for it.
Yep.
Damn. Well, that is going to be an awesome movie with the Austin O'Brien in that movie. Of course, the kid from Last Action Hero. I just saw that. I was like, hey, I know that kid. All right, so that's damn good. Well, I don't have any announcements or anything like that. Oh, Butterfly Effect. Yeah, that was a classic Fish Tropic.
I'm going to check the chat real quick. So, Fish Tropic saying that we should watch the new movie Old or A Quiet Place Part 2.
No.
We've actually seen A Quiet Place Part 2. Mm-hmm. It's available on HBO Max, right? Which one's it available on?
HBO Max.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's available for streaming on your whatever platform. Mm-hmm. And it's decent. They definitely went a different direction than the first movie. I loved the first movie because the sound was so jarring when you did finally hear sound. This movie, they have so much sound, and it's so different from the first movie. And there's parts of it that kind of tick me off because it's almost like they forget about other characters for a hot second. Not wanting to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but it's still a decent movie. They are going to have a part 3 coming out at some point because there's no way they're not going to complete the story. The way they ended it, there's no way they're not going to. But Fish Tropic's also saying that he wants us to watch everything from the Insidious franchise, which I like the Insidious franchise. They're pretty good.
Yeah, I got 3 of those on Blu-ray, I think.
30 Days of Night, that's a good movie.
That is good.
You know, and even the Butterfly Effect. All I remember about the Butterfly Effect was Ashton Kutcher, like, didn't he blow his limbs off in one of those?
He blew, some of
one of those things or whatever. Like, no, like he was like a quadriplegic in like one scene real quick because he keeps like resetting it to try to like make it perfect for him and his mind and everything.
It just never works. Yeah, it's like the old adage is like, don't play God, don't play fate. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to control stuff.
He just keeps making it worse every time. But
well, I said, damn, this was another fine night of Is It That Bad? I got to go find a box of Kleenexes. I'm getting a little runny nose here.
Mark, hand me that.
Where is it?
Right there. I'm pointing right at it.
Reach.
I can't reach it.
Well,
all right. Anywho,
use those
since you were talking about it, I thought I should show you this. I have this in my background anyway.
Oh, Littlefoot. Or is that Chomper? The little Chomper?
No, this is Littlefoot.
Okay, that's
I have Chomper in the other room.
Well, baby Chomper, I think he was part 2 or part 3 he made his first appearance. I can't remember.
I think it's part 2.
Yeah.
And then it's weird because like he's the baby, but then when he gets older, he starts talking and going on adventures with them.
Like part 8 or 9 or something, probably. Yeah.
And then like they had like that weird show, you know, that was like in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, it didn't really last long. I mean, I really liked those films a lot better. Like when little Huntsman was little, we got them all, you know, the DVDs for him.
I'm just saying.
Oh man, Fish
Go
Tropic.
Get some tree stars.
That's it, man. Tree stars for life.
3 stars for life.
I
didn't know there was a trilogy of Butterfly Effect.
I'd seen the first one. I don't remember the second one. If I saw the second one, I've only seen it once. I just remember the first one was a lot better.
I did not even know there was 3.
I remember seeing Butterfly Effect in theaters because my friend thought Ashton Kutcher was hot.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we walked out of the movie when it was over and everything, she thought it was the weirdest thing ever.
Oh, right. And it's one of
I
those
was
movies.
like, it's called Butterfly Effect.
It's one of those weird shows, you know, like you step on a butterfly in a different timeline and you can get an alternate timeline. Classic Back
like
to the Future 2, you know.
It's like the Dark Picture anthology games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, which is my favorite because you get to be in a VR roller coaster shooting at things. And then, you know, like The Man of Medan, Little Hope. You know, there's some good games. And it's like every action that you take, it changes your story.
Yeah, I like those. You know, do you remember that picture I posted in the Facebook chat? And I took a picture of the journey into the sea, the old choose your own adventure.
Oh, yeah.
At the library. Those were classic. But anyways, Cat Ren, why don't you take us out? Like I said, I got to get going because my nose is going to start flowing instead of
I got you. You got to go be blowing your nose. I got you.
Whew.
All right. So that is it for this episode of Is It That Bad? Cooties, was it that bad? No, it was a really good movie. We all enjoyed it. Of course, this was our first ever audience participation episode where you, the audience, got to vote on what movie we would be reviewing for Is It That Bad? Now, of course, we're going to have more of these, but I feel like we should have a couple more of our rounds of films moving forward. You know, and then in a couple weeks, who knows? We might pull this out of our hat again. Have some fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shake things up. We'll definitely give you guys a heads up when that happens. But as per usual, guys, please do give us a like if you like this video. If you're watching this on the rewind, comment below and tell us some of the cool movies you'd like us to watch, what you thought of Cooties, and if you've seen it before. Also, if you remember PreHysteria?
PreHysteria.
I don't remember how to pronounce it, but PreHysteria.
That's
from 93. If you're a 90s child, if you remember that movie, the weird dinosaur movie, and if you're excited about it like I am. Because, you know, it's got dinosaurs and they're little, and I would totally be down to have a little baby T-Rex just running around that couldn't actually eat my fur babies.
Since you can't say PreHysteria, right?
Yeah.
Dual rear wheel drive.
Dual rear wheel drive.
Dual rear wheel drive.
Because remember,
it's fine. I couldn't pronounce aluminum for the longest time.
Aluminum.
He kept making fun of me for it. I couldn't pronounce it.
I remember old Coach Wade had the hardest time doing that, you know, pronouncing dual rear wheel.
Dual rear wheel drive.
Yeah. Aluminium. That's what you're supposed to say.
But as per usual, guys, all the above, you know, comment below, tell us all that nonsense.
Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon, let us know when we're live.
Socials, all that. And until next time, guys, be sure to watch the film for next week. It is available on Tubi for free right now. I would highly suggest you go ahead and watch it. And see you next week. Same bat time, same that channel. I was trying to do something interesting.
Same cat time, same cat channel. Cat time, cat channel.
Anyway, we're gonna do the waves because I'm already taking this ending. Bye.
We're still alive.
I know we're still alive. I was trying to trick Legend into doing it again. I was trying to wait for Legend to just keep doing it like he did last time.
The waves. You know,
oh my god.
Like the circle.
Bye, guys.
So much.